And we're live. It's Whiskey Watches and Wheels, and I am the phenomenal Matt Green. Boys, introduce yourselves.
Casey.
I'm James.
I'm Kevin.
Well, damn. Almost like we knew what we were talking about.
Almost.
Everyone, took a beat.
Bringing
And
the heat.
what the hell are you doing with your camera, Casey? You're all shaking around.
Yeah.
You want to be zoomed in? How's everyone doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Tired.
It has been a just crazy ass week. I mean, with Monday being a holiday and coming in on Tuesday, and I've had 2 days of Mondays already this week. So, and
Nice.
Kevin's drinking already, so I know he's had a rough week.
Yeah, well, the weather this past weekend was terrible. So I don't know how it was in Florida.
Rain.
Yeah.
It rains every day. Matter of fact, if we
walloped.
get funkiness tonight, it's probably gonna be storming here in a minute. So.
Yeah, it was like it was fall weather.
Really? Cold?
That's good.
Yeah.
It was
Cold
dry
rain.
here.
Was it? You didn't get rain there, Casey?
Not
Yeah,
this
we
weekend.
got rain. Fall. It rains for you in fall, James.
No, it was cold. It was.
Oh,
We had to put the heat on cold.
Well, Kevin and I were about 112 degrees, so
Yeah.
we could use a little cold air right now.
Yeah, it's
And I wish I was exaggerating, but I wasn't. It's hot as balls in Florida right now.
yeah.
No, this weekend we had almost historic lows. It was like 25 degrees under norm for this past weekend.
Yeah, it was crazy.
so what was that, like 40s?
It was like mid 60s,
And the low?
like high 40s at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Which
weird.
made it great. I was working in the yard and on the boat all weekend, so it made it great for working outside. But if you weren't doing something, it was a little chilly.
So,
Nipply.
so you got the boat all de-winterized and everything's good to go?
De-winterized, the engine's running. That's always my big concern, is that it's going to shit the
And
bed
the
over the winter.
subwoofers thumping.
Not
Yeah.
yet. That's so I was I had to run all new wire because all the stuff that was in there was just dog shit. And I've got that wake tower on it, and I was hoping to be able to pull the new wire up through using the old wire. And of course, that didn't freaking work. So I had to basically take half the damn thing apart, and the pieces are 6 or 7 feet long, and so trying to do that by yourself while not crashing on your head or on the side of the boat or on your toe or whatever, it was a bit of a hassle. And then I bought a subwoofer box, like a pre-made one, to try to speed up and be able to get things done this weekend. But I bought it while the boat was still in storage. So then when I go to test fit, it doesn't fit in the little cubby, like the cutout for the ski locker that goes under the bow. And that's why I had to make my own, which that took me like a day to do. So just normal shit when you're trying to do a project. All this stuff just happens, and it's frustrating, but yeah, whatever.
Now, have you bought said sub that's going in the box?
Yeah.
What did you get?
I got a Dayton 8 RSS 265 HO. So it's just a 10-inch sub. It should be more than enough. I'm gonna do like the amp I got. It's like 1,000 watts or something, so it'll be fine.
Well, you gotta have the thumping yacht rock. So.
Yeah, it'll be good enough for this little boat.
There you go. So I guess let's do a wristwatch check. I mean, tonight it's gonna be really easy peasy. We got nothing really main to talk about. We're gonna shoot the shit and go over some news topics and see where the night takes us.
All right, good. I'm wearing a Willard.
Well, that's a really pretty.
There you
Willard.
go. I got it started. Go.
Casey,
There you go.
Casey, you go first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Willard. Done.
Willard. Okay. Kev, what you got on, buddy?
Seiko. Custom.
Custom
I don't
Seiko.
know. Custom Seiko.
Yeah.
You guys have seen it before, so.
Yep.
And for the listeners that haven't seen it, it's a custom Seiko that I got made.
The
And
rainbow one, right?
yeah, kind of rainbow.
Yep.
It's cool.
Black
that,
black dial, little like splatter paint on it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
is that a rubber NATO?
Yeah.
Super comfy.
Yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Yes. Comfortable. I like this watch a lot, actually. I don't know if it's like what the waterproof is on it, but I do tend to. I wear a lot of blue, so and it is comfortable, so I do like it. I don't know. I've been wearing this one for a while.
Cool.
I'm wearing a Seiko as well. SKX 009.
Gotta love it.
So Pepsi on a Pepsi NATO as well. So
Cool. And I'm wearing Seiko adjacent. I'm wearing a red Orient Komatsu. So,
Sharp red right there.
yeah. Nice mirror finish on the dial.
Yeah, nice.
What are we drinking today?
Yeah, what are you guys drinking? I'm drinking water. I'm bored. Boring. I'm drinking water.
I got, I'm doing ranch water, which I'm a big fan of, with Lalo, however you would say that in Spanish. No additive free, real 100% tequila, agave rather. And then the only choice, Topo Chico, hint of lime. Very good stuff.
I've never had Topo Chico.
Oh, it's good.
Don't waste your money. Didn't we all used to say don't drink water from Mexico? And then I remember seeing our friend with some Mexican water. I'm like, why would anybody drink water from? And I know a lot of you hipsters are going to be like, oh, I love Topo Chico. Being a Mexican, I don't drink Mexican water. Like, no, I'm not drinking that shit.
So is that what? It's just water? It's just bottled water?
Well, they do make bottled water. Okay. Yes,
okay. But it's carbonated bottled water. It's mineral water. So it's if you drink the straight stuff, like non-flavored stuff, it's a good water. But this has got the hint of lime.
So a Mexican liqueur.
Yeah.
But isn't that kind of like an oxymoron? Like, oh, I'm drinking Mexican water.
Yeah.
Right.
But do you actually drink it?
That stuff's not cheap either.
Well, you put it in a glass bottle and it's fancy.
12 pack for $16. But I've been on it. So I've noticed, and this is super first world problem, but I like water out of glass bottles. Like when you compare it to like a bottle of water that's plastic, taste them side by side. Oh God! So I've been I just drink one a day because it is like what $1.50.
So quenching.
It's good. But what's the blue? I hate y'all. Fuck y'all. All right,
the blue along. The blue glass bottle.
Yeah. Whatever brand that is.
That's really above my pay grade. I can't afford that.
Hey, what about the Fever Tree? You like the Fever Tree, Casey?
Do they have water?
No, but if we're talking about the Topo Chicos coming in all different kinds of flavors.
I do like the Fever stuff, the ginger beer and the ginger ale. I'll use that. I like it. It comes in the little glass bottle. And the ginger is really strong in it, so it'll hold up to bourbon, which is what I'm usually adding it to. And it's really good spice, like the ginger spice. Yes. So I do really enjoy.
I find that to have a really nice punch to it as well. Yeah. All the others I've tasted are very sweet.
Yeah, I agree. So I agree. Once you go, like,
you guys are fucking lame talking about fucking water.
I really like
we're
Canada
talking about
Dry.
What we mix our drinks with. That's really what it comes down to.
I really like the diet, like Canada Dry, and that would be like the standard. But the Fever is much better.
I'm more a Fresca guy.
So I'm drinking BJ's Wesley Farms bottled water. That's
Y'all can go fuck yourself. Because all I'm saying is it matters when you're pouring this stuff into your drink. It changes the flavor, and if it's the wrong stuff, it makes it taste weird.
Fair enough.
If that's the hill you're going to die on, I will take you there. No
that's
problem.
fine.
Kevin with the Weller.
Yes.
I'm drinking. Well, I think I told you guys I open a bottle and try to finish it. So see if I can get drunk again, like me and Casey got drunk. Oh. Weller, Special Reserve, 90 proof, green label.
That's nice.
I don't know what this is. $45 retail?
Well, it's supposed to be like $35. Yeah.
So, are you going to attempt to drink that whole thing on this podcast? Is that what you're going to do?
Yes, I will drink this whole thing on this podcast. Not at one sitting. Well, I could, but I might be like.
Is Aaron available to come pick you up?
Well, listen, the show will order you an Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think I only poured a little bit. So there was I think I had 5 drinks last time when we were just me and Casey.
Yeah, that was enough. I had enough as well.
Who was it? George said, "Oh yeah, you guys were talking about me." And I'm like I was like, "Oh yeah, okay," but I didn't know what he said. I said, "Oh, I'll have to watch the video." I didn't watch it. And he's like, "Yeah, you guys are giving me a shout out for me. I don't know, being Care Bear or something like that." I don't know what he said. I was just like, "Okay, cool, yeah." So I don't know what I said, but yeah,
you said a lot.
You had a good time saying it. That's all that matters.
Yes, and it is hot here, so you're gonna see me because my AC's broken in my shop.
Fucking Florida.
Yeah, it's brutal right now.
It's 81 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yikes.
What are you drinking, James?
I'm with water tonight. I just a little under the weather here, so I'm on some meds. So I'm sticking with water.
There you
I
go.
guess that happens as you get older, right? You start getting sick a lot and have to take
start breaking down.
multivitamins.
Yes.
One day you're taking some pills, next day they're willing to hospice. You know,
Yes.
that's just the way
Yeah,
it is.
so like even today, it is 63 here right now. That's 12 degrees below average. So I mean, it's been a little chilly.
No, that's a
Wow.
good segue. Okay.
Yeah, that's right on topic.
Well,
And that was 2 topics ago.
Yeah.
Casey.
Oh,
Another
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And we know Matt's drinking water, so.
Casey's
Alright.
like, what the fuck?
What
Casey,
are we talking about?
You were Casey. Were you feeling a little good at the end of last week's podcast?
Yeah,
Yes.
that was no food all day.
Yeah.
And then
And no fucks given.
no fucks.
No, I was editing. I didn't realize it in the moment, and then I was editing the podcast. I'm like, Casey's hammered, man. Here at the end. Yeah,
I was.
Casey's freaking hammered.
Yeah, that was enough.
Yeah. It's all good. So I asked for topics. You guys threw some up in the group chat. So where do you guys want to start? Mostly Casey and James threw up the news articles. Thank you very much. I've had a crazy week and have time to prep for anything.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Is there anything particular you want to start with?
You're the producer. You got to pick.
Oh, I have to pick. All right. Well, let's talk about Nissan being broke.
Let's go.
Well, you could just put all of the Japanese manufacturers in that. No,
They're all hurting. I mean, well,
They all
Toyota's doing
hurt.
okay. Toyota's doing okay.
all-
They're about the only one.
they're all hurting.
Are they?
Yeah.
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 I think that Nissan should have taken the deal with Honda, right? And apparently Toyota approached them as well, and they told them to go pound sand.
Mhm.
And
I thought they took a deal.
No, Nissan backed
I don't
out.
think so.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Okay.
they backed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one with Honda, they initially signed on for and then backed out because they were going to make them basically a sub brand, and second tier, and they didn't want that. And I think the real question is that I don't understand why Nissan's not asking itself, as it can't sell a friggin' car. But who the fuck buys a Nissan? And has there been any vehicle you've been excited for? I know who buys Nissan, and they've got payments for 97 months.
Right.
Like who's buying a Nissan unless you can't afford every other car and you need a Nissan Sentra to try to run me off the road?
Ultima.
The Ultimas
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I mean they're dog
Mhm.
shit. And
Well, I think, and I think a lot of companies are moving away from them for company cars. For one, a lot of
Mhm.
people are getting rid of company
fleet
cars.
cars. Yeah,
Fleet cars.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing. I know my wife drove one, and then there were tons of airports, but travel's out, everything's down. People aren't providing company cars. So that was their main, I guess, bread and butter.
Well,
Yeah.
do they come off the showroom floor with like floppy bumpers? Like,
that's a
I
prerequisite.
think so. And
Yeah.
shitty transmissions.
I will tell
Um,
you guys, though, I did have a Nissan Titan 4x4.
That was a
Pro.
hot car for a while.
yeah.
And I will say that truck sucked on gas, 12 miles per gallon. But I actually sold that car and bought a 2500 Chevy diesel. And I paid cash for that car, and I turned that car in, I think, a month later because, with Nissan or with any, I think, Japanese car, I had so many bells and whistles, a sunglass holder, the mirrors,
Mhm.
this, that, like all the little things, like, oh, you open up this console.
take for
Oh, I have
granted.
storage, right? You take for
Yeah.
granted. And, oh, the back seats fall down. I bought the 2500. You got to have like an $80,000 car to get the same kind of, so,
Trim level.
I put, trim level. I actually went and got a Laredo, center console just so I can have storage. And then I bought this, and then I put a subwoofer, and then I was like, wait a second, this truck sucks. And it was right when the Chevy 2500 came out with that new body style. Into this day, I have not seen really a truck that matches a Toyota or a Nissan as far as all the bells and whistles that you get without having to spend $100,000 on a
Yeah,
truck.
I do agree. When the Titan came out, that was a hot truck. It was going up against the Tundra and F-150. It was on par, at least I've never driven one, but all the reviews and whatnot had it on par with. It looked, the part, but they couldn't sustain that, obviously. And I think that's the bigger thing. it's unfortunate because I think that choices are getting more limited, and Nissan, I don't think I think they believe that the 370Z was going to do something or
even
give them
what's
some
the other
sort of
one? The
image.
Z,
The 400Z is the new one or whatever.
400Z.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Terrible.
who gives a fuck? Like, I haven't heard any of the other car podcasts I listened to. Nobody's mentioned that thing or test driven it or said anything about it.
You don't even see them on the road. I saw my very first one in the wild about 3 weeks ago, and that was it. And it's sad because if you roll back the clock 25 years ago, Stacy and I had an Altima back in the early 2000s, and it was a really nice car. It had for them, it was the V6 that they currently still are running 25 years later, but it was new then. I think it was a 3.3 liter. It was a fast car. It was over 300 horsepower. It was great, but that was 25 years ago.
And 300 horsepower
today,
was a lot.
And it's the same. It's the same engine, the same shit. I mean, they haven't advanced in 25 years. It's the same stuff.
Well, no, I'm just looking it up here. The first one launched, it was 2004 model, and you're saying, Kevin, it got like 15 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
I'll say out of a 5.6 liter V8. I will say that my Cayenne only gets like 15. So it ain't ain't too far off that. But I mean, even being 5 years newer. But gas was cheap then, right? Like 2004, gas was what, 99 cents a gallon?
2004?
I don't know about that.
No.
Well,
no, like 1990.
No, when I was in high school,
over $2, I believe.
Late 90s, early 2000s, I would wait for the gas stations in Kentucky to go back under $1 to buy gas. So it was, that time was still existed, at least in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Anyway.
2008 rolled around and all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
The average in 2000 was $1.51 a gallon.
Casey, while you're looking at what was the first year of the R35 GTR?
R35 GTR first year?
Uh-huh.
GTR R35 launch year.
Oh, by the way, it's 60-some degrees here, just for cases.
Oh, there you go. See? 2007.
So 2007. So here it is, 2025, and the car is exactly the same. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, granted, I understand you're dealing with upper echelon technology, but, and they're...
For what, GTR?
Yeah. Well, no, in 2007, but not today. That's what I'm saying. They haven't, but they're over $100,000.
The horsepower has changed.
Yeah, horsepower's gone up because they just do tuning. The engine hasn't changed.
Yeah,
it's all tuning. It's an amazing thing when you just increase boost.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works. And it's over. It's 4,000 pound vehicle. It's a tank.
Yeah, it is a tank. Anyway, for those, what we're alluding to is in the news where Nissan needs cash, and they're talking about possibly selling off their corporate office in Japan, which would net them $700 million. And then what they'll do is, like a lot of companies, they'll sell off the building and then lease it from the new purchaser for a period of time,
just for a cash infusion, right?
Yeah,
but
they need cash.
But honestly, $700 million, that's a shitload of money. But for a car manufacturer,
it's a drop in the bucket.
What is that going to do? I mean,
that's cash. You got to remember that is cash.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, who's going to buy that building? Just because you're selling the building doesn't mean someone's going to buy the building.
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly who's buying. It's going to be a Chinese conglomerate that is literally, they just go and buy stuff because they have cash. That or
no. Japan don't play that game. They don't let people.
That's true.
In America, you're not allowed to buy property unless you have to be a Japanese citizen. So
it'll be a Saudi group with one Japanese guy on the board.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right. So Nissan's out.
Nissan's out.
Nissan's out. Fuck them.
But while we're talking about Japan or Japanese manufacturers, it looks like Toyota is wanting to get into the small truck market,
and they should.
Yeah, they should. I mean, they want to get in and bring something smaller than the Tacoma. The Tacoma's a great vehicle.
That's because Tacoma's freaking huge now.
It is huge.
Yeah,
Everything's grown. Everything's grown.
They used to have they need to bring back the old Tacoma.
Well, that's what
cylinder.
So you look at Ford. Ford had the Ranger. I had two of them back in the 90s. Great trucks. But the Ranger now is the same size. Yeah. The Ranger now is the same size as the F-150 of the 90s.
Sure.
So, because it's grown. So what they do, Ford saw it. They brought in the Maverick. Smaller, subcompact pickup truck. And it's selling hands over fist.
It's going to kill.
Hyundai
And
has their own little
my
version.
friend, just not to interrupt,
No,
I
it's
was
fine.
just at my friend's shop.
Yeah.
450 horsepower. He just dynoed it at the dyno today. He's got a Maverick.
Really?
Are you? That's
450 horsepower.
That's wild.
And he's got it's blacked out. He's got all this stuff
Does
done
he have
to it.
crank windows?
Yes, he does.
Because everything,
Yeah.
I think they're almost doing on the Maverick what Porsche does. Like everything's an option.
Mhm.
You can get it like super, super base, like no AC, crank windows, etc.
Yeah.
And again, for fleet vehicles, right? Just like what Nissan has done. But yeah, you can get it really basic. But I think it's a great thing because the market kind of says that it likes these things, right?
Yeah.
Historically, the Ranger sold well, Tacoma sold well, the S10 pickup truck sold really well. What
Yeah.
other little shit trucks were they? I called them woman trucks.
All of them. Yeah, Isuzu had
They
one.
weren't, though.
Yeah, and
But
Isuzu
they
has
weren't-
one. Nissan had one. I mean,
But they
look
weren't
at the
so tiny back then.
no.
You know, they were just, okay, that's a mid-sized truck, right? You
Yeah.
had the home truck, and then you had the big-ass trucks for work,
Mhm.
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
So now everything is big-ass for no apparent reason, but just to
And it's really
Make
an
them
empty
larger.
market. I mean, Toyota. I mean, Ford has the Maverick, and then Hyundai has that little Santa Cruz, which it's not really. So it looks like an SUV, but it's got an open bed on the back, but it's small, almost like a Baja.
Okay.
It looks like a Maverick. Maverick's got a small bed too.
but it's more car based. It looks more like a car. It's not as quite as, the Maverick looks like a truck. The Santa Cruz, which I like the Santa Cruz, but it looks like an SUV that just had the back lopped off.
Looks like one of the Subarus. Remember the Subarus
Looks like
with
the
the
Brat.
truck thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
Subaru Brat.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but those are really the only two, compact trucks on the market. Now, there's been a lot of media lately about the new Slate. Have you guys seen that thing?
yeah,
Yeah, I've heard
it's
of
an
it,
EV, but it's a cool concept. I don't like the fact that it's going to be all EV, but
it's going to be sold on Amazon.
yeah, I mean, but it's a $20,000 truck that literally you can do whatever you want to it. It's a blank slate. No pun on that name.
Do we want to buy everything from billionaires now?
Unfortunately, they're the ones that roll the world, man.
I'll be curious about this Slate truck. I think Doug DeMuro had a portion of one of his podcasts on this, and they had a lot of questions about it as well. But I think that the interesting part will be if it actually can hit the market at that
Right.
price point.
Yeah.
And from what I remember is that once you add any amount of like option to it, like to get the distance over like 100 miles or 150 miles, it puts you in the same cost bracket as a Maverick.
Right.
And so it was one of the questions of, well, Maverick, you can obviously fill up at the gas station. This thing, you got to sit there and charge for 30 minutes. And if you can go the same distance on a tank of gas or a battery charge, wouldn't you just go for the Maverick if they both got fucking crank windows and no AC? So it will be an interesting thing if they can bring the cost down. Excuse me. And with the tariffs and whatnot still floating, I don't know where their batteries are coming from and the cost of that, and to how those tariffs will affect the cost of the entry level Slate model.
I like the concept of the Slate. I like the idea that you can buy a truck and literally bolt seats in the back and put a thing on it, and it looks like it's not like a truck with a topper on it. It looks like an SUV.
Mhm.
I mean, it really can. You can do anything you want to it. Roof racks, all kind of crazy stuff. I like the concept. I'm not a market buyer for it because I don't need an EV truck. But if it was a hybrid, that'd be a different story.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of looks like with the trunk topper, it
Mhm.
looks like a Bronco.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I have a picture. Let's see if we can get a picture of this. Let's see if it zooms in.
Oh, dude, he's got the new Lobo. That's the Lobo package.
Extended cab
Let's
on
see
it.
here.
Yeah.
See if it zooms in. There
you go. Yep.
There you
I
go.
mean, he did all that stuff himself though. So
Oh,
he
did
did
he?
not
Okay.
buy. Yeah, he did not buy any of that stuff from the dealers. From the dealership. So here's this front of it. See if it zooms in here. Let's see if I get it. There you go.
There you go.
He
That's
did it
awesome.
all. He did the wheels. I guess he had the wheels custom made. And it's boosting like 420 horsepower or something.
That's awesome.
Well, that's
nuts.
interesting, but I'm still like, I don't know, man. It's still a $25,000 truck, and you hit a pothole wrong, and the thing probably fall apart.
Yeah.
But this is the same guy that he used to have the fastest 911 in the quarter mile. I think it ran like back then in the 8s. It was a 99.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 993.
Yeah.
993. Yep.
He's actually the one that I have. Aaron's
Actually,
car
no.
from.
I'm sorry. I take that back. That was 964. Bad Boys was 964.
So I think he had a 993, but he's the one that we bought Aaron's car from. That has 720 horsepower because he just loves fucking around with
why
shit,
not?
So.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I think it's cool to have a platform. Again, like those lowrider trucks back in the day, it was a cheap entry-level platform that totally like changed the car scene or car culture, right? Those lowrider trucks were really cool and customized and created kind of like its own market. Perhaps this truck can tap into some of that because the entry price is so low.
Well, what's interesting though is that it's almost like you can make it look like anything. It could be a Ford Bronco. It could look like a pickup. Hell, with some of these the hard tops, it part of it looks like a Discovery.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool concept. I like the idea of literally having a Lego vehicle, and you can kind of attach anything to it and make it really whatever you want.
Like a
now
Volkswagen.
You were talking about Land Rovers and stuff. What's big here? What's the name of that company that made the Land Rover kind of clone?
The electric?
Nope. He basically took since Land Rover wasn't patented, he took
Enos.
Huge here.
Enos, the Grenadier.
Yeah.
Huge here.
I love
see them all over the place.
Yeah, I'd love to get one.
Yeah.
They're pretty freaking cool.
They're very cool. So I saw my first one like in person, other than photos, when Stacy and I were in DC. Matter of fact, I took the photo you guys. They actually had it in a mall, and I was able to go up and check it out. And it's a really cool vehicle. And I love the way that you can has the body cladding. You can bolt stuff to the sides and everything.
Yeah. The L channel has the L channel on there. Yeah.
If you're overlanding,
cool.
it's a really cool deal.
It kind of looks like the Mercedes too, no?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Yeah, G-Wagon.
It looks like G-Wagon.
G-Wagon.
It's running a BMW. The only thing I don't like about it, it's running a BMW powertrain, which is great. I have no problem with that at all. But all the BMW powertrains, it's the same way in the Supra, they have to use BMW's proprietary shifter, and it just looks out of place inside of the Grenadier. It just doesn't look right in there. Everything's real rugged, and then you have this kind of like weird stalk thing. So, but take what you can get.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
This
This is going to be number 3, Poor. You guys calling me an Uber, you said, right?
Yeah, the show call you an Uber, no worries.
All right,
you guys all have my wife's number.
What about another Toyota thing, since we hit that a little bit? The CEO coming out, you heard what he's talking about, that cars need to be fun, they need to make noise, and that you can't sell cars now that's just a model update.
What do you think of that, Casey?
I agree 100%.
Do you?
I think that he's tapped into something that maybe we haven't put into words on here, certainly, or in our chats. But we have talked about how, especially with EVs, there's no reason to buy like a new EV. Once you have one, if you're an EV person, once you have one, why would you buy a new one, right? Because there's 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds versus 2.4 seconds. Who fucking cares? The battery technology hasn't upgraded to the point where your range is significantly longer. And they
look the same.
They look the same. And there's no like usage updates with inside. Like the luxury hasn't gotten better.
But people that are buying those cars as a means to just travel. They're not buying that car for.
How often do you buy a new toaster? Right? How often do you buy a new like refrigerator? It becomes an appliance.
We're not financing a toaster over 7 years.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. But once they just function, and for these people that want these sort of cars, they function on day one more or less the way they function 7 years down the road. So why would you upgrade?
The one thing that I guess I don't agree with is that he's lumping everybody in as one big lump sum, where at this point, I believe that there's a Y in the road where half the people are engaged with their vehicles. And I believe half of the people on the roads could care less about driving, much less what car they're in.
Yeah.
I think that there's an absolute disinterest in driving altogether. It shows on the roads. Most people are doing something else.
It shows in young people getting their driver's license.
Not getting their license.
Correct.
Yeah.
At older and older ages.
I see a split, and it's not one big sum of people where Toyota just like, oh, if we give them interesting cars, people are going to buy them. I don't think half the people give a shit.
It's interesting. I think part of what plays into that is the cost of all vehicles have gone up so much, even used cars, that entry-level car is no longer like what a high school kid can buy.
Right. There isn't an entry-level car.
I bought my first car for like $4,000. Like, you can't buy a $4,000 car that you'd feel comfortable in anymore.
You were able to buy
but even if we took the inflation, so okay.
So it'd be an $8,000 car.
No. I mean, you didn't buy there was no car that was $4,000 when you were growing up. You're brand new.
Oh, no, certainly not.
But we're talking about buying a brand new entry level car there. So it would have been like in my time, a Honda Civic base model hatchback CX, $12,000, or a Neon, right? Or same thing. Those were base model cars, brand new base model. Now I think the cheapest car that you could probably buy, I would say, would be a Nissan Altima.
Shitbox.
And what is that? Like 28 grand?
30?
30? Yeah. Okay.
That's
so for that inflation
amount of money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money for a car. There's nothing in there that is sub 30,000.
Sub 20,000. Yeah, there's
like mid 30s. Yeah, mid 20s. I'm sorry.
So I'm just using this as a generic year because it's easy to find. But like, say I bought my car in 2000. All right, I was in high school. I bought a used Miata, but brand new Miata was 20 grand.
That's actually Miatas are still pretty inexpensive, right?
Well, relatively. For a car. Let's see what
they're
it is.
They're in the 30s.
$30,000.
So
they're high 30s.
That's entry level, right? As you're calling it, entry level. But that's a 30 is what, $600 a month car payment if you put it over 60 months.
It's got to be more than that.
It's more
10,
than that.
15, 20, 25, 30. No, it'll be about a little over $600 a month. About $100 per $5,000.
At 7.5% interest, which is a normal car loan at this point.
Remember what a kid's going to get.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a shitload of money. Yeah. And so how's a high school kid that works at Kroger on the weekend going to be able to afford that? They can't, obviously, right? So then they go for the used car market, but the used car market is so expensive still.
Yeah, and we're still paying the price from the chip shortage.
We're paying the price for his chip shortage. We're paying the price for COVID. We're paying the price for cash for clunkers. Like these three major events, especially cash for clunkers, which I hated at the time and I hate still to this day. That got rid of so many of those low-end old cars that high school kids are supposed to be driving.
Or for parts cars. So
parts cars, great
now
example.
you want to fix your E30. That $8 piece of plastic now costs you $45.
Exactly right.
James always got to go back to the BMW, huh?
They're always broken, so that's how he knows the price of these things.
Exactly.
But anyway, Toyota, I think that he, as James said, he segmented the market, but I do think it was said to make a soundbite and to make a headline. And I don't disagree with the fact that these things have got to be interesting. They got to find out what the true market wants, and selling just EVs is boring as fuck, and nobody wants them.
Well, Toyota never really sold EVs, anyways, and then
they're hybrid, right? Yeah,
and he can say all this.
Hybrid. They were king of hybrid with the Prius.
Still are, I think.
Yeah, and the Prius is not a bad.
I'm still waiting for the Prius to come out. Like that new version of the Prius looks badass.
It sure does.
It looks really nice.
Better,
I like it a lot
for sure.
Yeah.
What's the other car that I sent you guys? We were talking about, if the Honda S2000, I know it's probably not going to come out looking like the renderings. Badass car. Why don't they just make something that looks badass? I mean,
they will.
Exactly.
Because we're all looking to China to do badass now.
Well, and I think Toyota, again, this is strictly my opinion. I haven't read anything, but I think Toyota is a bit confused on the car market currently. And if you look at their SUV lineup, I think that indicates what I'm saying. When you have Land Cruiser, Sequoia, 4Runner, all these, you got 3 or 4, the Lexus, whatever the big one's called, LX or whatever.
Mhm.
You've got a lot of these SUVs that are all in the exact same market space.
But all of those cars, all 3 or 4 of those cars you just talked about, are all made in the United States.
Okay.
Indiana.
I mean, let's go. I'm happy for that. But I'm just saying that they're a little confused as to what product and what image that they want to be.
Yeah, but we talked about this before too. The days of stick shift, like you guys all said, the days of, hey, we couldn't wait to drive until when we were 15, 16 years old. The days of people wanting to drive, just like James said. The days we've talked about this many times, and I know we do Whiskey Watches and Wheels. Unfortunately, driving is not a pastime. It's not a hobby anymore. We are kind of the dying breed across the gap of ages that we are. And even the people that we associate with, it's just, and it's sad because that's one of our hobbies, but I just think that cars in general now are just dying. It's not a pleasure to drive in a car. And we're just barking up, we're beating a dead horse, right? Because it's 4 of us, we love to drive. But the mass majority of people, I would say 80% of the population globally, could give 2 shits about driving.
But here's the thing is that, are they now starting to cater back to us as far as, okay, let's rip out the big ass screens.
Because we have the money and we're the ones that are...
Right.
We want the car. Yeah.
Right. Rip out the screens, put the buttons back in, get rid of half the tech, get rid of the battery, give me a hybrid, give me a stick shift. Is that all pulling back from, we're all heading down to the future and we're going to have nothing but self-driving cars and they're going to be battery operated?
Well, the economy for the last, 30 years has been focused on the boomers, and maybe our general age people are the new boomers to where the market is going to start to slide in the direction. I don't know where James is in conjunction to you, Kevin.
I'm not a boomer.
He's right here to me.
This guy.
But I don't know if the market is going to look at our general age people and think that, hey, maybe this is where the next kind of cycle of money and the future of spenders is going to be. I don't know. I'm not that smart.
But here's the thing: is saying that you got Porsche on the other hand, getting their ass handed to them now. And going back to your comment, Casey, as far as with the Slate going down the path of you just get the basic car, and then if you want it with 4 wheels, you got to pay extra. That's the Porsche model through and through. And they're getting bit right now because China, they've lost 50% of their buyers in China. They went from something like 96,000 cars a year to 45,000 cars.
Because people aren't buying. Why aren't people buying Porsches?
I think they've lost interest, and the Chinese cars that are coming out have more interest.
That's never going to happen. I don't know who put that EV Miata out.
I did.
Yeah, that's not a Miata though.
No. It's an Autopian. It's the Autopian article. No, China is producing their own. They're just saying EV Miata ? China's producing their own, basically EV sports car. They're launching. They're going to be to market before Porsche and comes out with the Cayman/Boxster, and 429 horsepower. 0-62 in 2.9 seconds.
But we're never going to see that car. Those cars out there that they have right.
No, but I brought this up because James mentioned
China. The Porsche buyer in China, they now have multiple choices, as well as
local
better tech and lower
China
pricing.
is the largest EV market. I mean, even though we don't see a need for EV, China is a massive EV market.
And going back to Porsche as a brand, have they priced themselves out chasing the dollar? In this article that we're referring to, it's talking about the price of the GT3 went up $53,000. Entry level Taycan starts at $102,550.
They're trying to be Ferrari. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but here's the thing too: is don't forget they now have shareholders to please. So this is fucking peanut counting shit.
Yeah. Well, Porsche in a situation where. And we talked about this multiple podcasts, but they have the 911, okay? But their entry-level sports cars, Cayman and Boxster, are both gone. They're going to be gone.
And James, back to your shareholders. So I do own Porsche stock.
Yeah.
Porsche is still owned by Volkswagen.
Sure.
Their stock that they went out is the holding company of Porsche, because I see all these things and I keep on looking at my stock, and it's dipped just a little bit. And when I bought that stock, my broker told me that I was like, I don't know, buying it, and it was only like 10% of like, for that, I bought 10% of the trade, and it wasn't like millions of dollars or, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then he's like, oh yeah, well, this stock doesn't trade. So that is just a holding company of the Porsche family, right?
Right.
And that stock really hasn't dropped. Like, I'll take a look at it and see what it is. So I know we talk about like, hey, they have shareholders, but it's still owned by Volkswagen.
Yeah. True.
So, and I wish it would be a little more, because what's the word I'm looking for? Susceptible to Volkswagen, like this
Influence.
Influence, because I think it would kind of get them off their ass, and because, like I said, their stock really hasn't changed, and I see everyone's like, oh yeah, they're plummeting. No, it's not. It's
Well, it's at $3.93. $3.93. I bought it for about 3 times that. And I'm referring to POAHY, POA.
Oh, you didn't buy. So you guys are not buying it on the stock German Frankfurt market.
No, correct.
Okay, so yeah, that's actually not the stock. You have to actually purchase it from the Frankfurt market, and that's not the one that is the correct one.
That sounds hard.
That's like I'm sorry.
Sounds hard.
I'm sorry.
That sounds difficult.
So I've lost
interest in it.
70%, but that's fine.
You got the bootleg. I'm just letting you know.
You got the Chinese version of the Porsche stock.
There you go.
Yes.
But it sucks. I think, and part of the issue with Porsche, again, tying kind of a couple of articles together here, is the Cayman Boxster losing their gasoline engine. They put that on hold. It's back again. It's off again. It's back again, off again. I think that Porsche's got their feelers out there trying to figure out what the market wants. I don't understand how they can go towards the EV thing in today's kind of reality, because it doesn't seem that anybody that likes these sports cars wants it to be an EV. But again, I'm an idiot, and I just I don't see. I think it's a bad.
Well,
bad decision.
Aren't they moonwalking it back pretty quickly from those EVs?
Not according to this article from May 22nd.
And to answer your question, so it's at $39.70 currently right now, and it has lost about 11.5% in about a year, which,
not great, but not horrible.
Yeah,
it's not terrible.
Yeah, there's an article today in the New York Times regarding Porsche getting pummeled by the tariffs as well, because they make all of their vehicles in Germany.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're kind of sweating it. I just think Porsche's kind of getting it from all different angles. They made some poor choices.
Well, we know that Europe is way crazy on the EV stuff, and so I'm sure they're dealing with that in their local office, if for lack of a better phrase, but dealing with that locally. And what we obviously don't know what pressures the German government has put onto them to maybe force their hand in some of this.
But you guys, out of BMW and Mercedes, you guys got to remember, Porsche is a boutique company, right? Like, we've all seen the numbers.
Yeah.
It's not a very big company, so they can't afford to build a factory like BMW or like Mercedes to build only SUVs, right? They're so small, and in my opinion, maybe a little bit arrogant. They want to, be that echelon of like, we're Porsche. Yeah. And to James' point, I think the tariffs is really, really hitting them hard. And we'll see what happens. Because the other thing too is they're not even doing what Audi did, where we'll take, or what Mercedes did on some of their cars, and saying, hey, we'll go ahead and eat some of these. They were like, nope, 9. You want the car? You're going to pay for it.
It's true. Yeah, you're right.
And it's bit him in the ass for being arrogant. So we'll see what happens. So far, I have a friend that has an allocation for a car. He's telling me that the dealership has promised him that price is locked, but he's very skeptical,
right?
Because he has European delivery of the car. Oh,
ruh-roh.
Yeah, well, and 25%. He's like 25%. And it's a PTS color, so we'll see what that even plays out like. So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean that's a lot of cheddar.
Absolutely.
What else we got, Matt?
So I want to get y'all's feedback on this here. Mercedes, while we're talking about German manufacturers, Mercedes launched photos of the new M2. And I want to see what you guys think about it. So
Mercedes
this
or
is
BMW?
a BMW. I'm sorry,
BMW.
not Mercedes. BMW.
Well,
So-
right off the bat, it looks like they moved away from the big grill on this one.
Correct,
Win.
and that's
That's a win.
what I like about it. I like the fact
Yeah.
that
Just
they've
don't show the
bisected-
ass. Do
Yeah.
not show the ass.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it?
It's a Honda Civic
It's god awful
through and through.
It's honestly, it is the worst. Like, what's that cheap ass Duraflex? Like the Duraflex body kits. It's a Duraflex ducktail is what it is on this damn thing. So I like the fact they've bisected the front bumper and they don't have the big beaver teeth any longer, but they're still keeping the cooling. I get it. But then you scroll over, man, and you see the back end and you're like, what are you doing?
It is. Does that look like Darth Vader?
It is heinous, man. It is as soon as I saw it, I said, that is the worst Duraflex
Terrible.
ducktail, horrible,
Terrible.
like repro ducktail I've ever seen. So I just don't get it. I mean, I love the side
What's
profile.
wrong with like making the trunk lid quote unquote normal and then having an additional molding that created that ducktail just to bisect that tail kind of 50% of the way up to make it look a little more normal?
Casey, what do you know? You're not a car designer. I mean, don't
Yeah, I
these
don't
car
know
designers
shit.
know
You're right,
what
I
people
don't know
want?
any-
I mean,
And
Obviously.
if you look at it from the side, it looks like everything on the rear end was glued on.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Terrible.
I mean, I don't hate the side profile, but this whole area back here is
but that
just,
looks,
it's
you know, what that
god-awful.
looks like a Lexus, the IS300 from
Well,
1995.
It really
Yeah.
does. You're not wrong.
There is a hint of a throwback to the M3 E30 M3 with the wide hip on
Yeah.
that back.
Yeah.
No, but the lower side sill valence there, that
Step down here.
Yeah. I don't know why it has to have the black trim lining. I don't know. That looks, as you all said, glued on.
Yep.
Yeah,
but,
it's
you know, it's just, is that going to turn into the 996 where you never show the front of the car? So
Yeah.
we're going to see these for sale, and they'll be only the front of the car. They won't
Yeah.
show the rear.
It'll
Yeah,
have 3/4
exactly.
shots at most. Yeah.
well,
And the other thing too that James, what's your opinion? Do you think they should have still kept the grill? It looks like there's nothing there. At least have some horizontal or vertical lines in the front to give it that BMW look, but still keep it small. Or do you like that big? Like, it looks like two big nostrils.
Well, it kind of does, but
Yeah.
it sure as hell looks better than the big buck teeth.
yeah, I
think
mean,
it
I'll
looks-
take this look over the buck teeth all day long.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think it looks
it's cleaner than the
Race
past version.
race car-y, like big, radiator opening.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't hate
But-
the front end at all.
yeah.
I kind of like the front end, but
But then again, I don't think this car is geared to any of us. I don't think we're the target audience
We're
at
not.
all.
Who's it geared to?
I think it's the young professional who
The boy
is
racer crowd.
3 years out of college, and he's got his first raise or promotion and going out and buying this car.
I'll tell you who it's geared towards. It's geared towards douchebags that likes burble tunes.
Yeah.
There was one in front of me today on Orange Blossom Trail. Fucker,
Right to the point.
stoplight to stoplight would take it to 4,000 RPMs just so he heard the things, crackling and popping and farting, and I'm like, what are
Right.
you doing? It was
We used to call that in the motorcycle industry a Dutch ovener. Like a Harley guy would always
Yeah.
the light just run, run, run. Yeah, like smelling your own farts. That's kind of the that's what we used to call them. Like, look at this fucking Dutch ovener.
well, this
I
guy
will tell
had-
you guys. Go ahead.
No, I said this guy had so much money in this car. It was an M6 convertible, all right, which looked nice, but then he had a wide body kit on it. I mean, he probably had a $10,000 body kit on it, so it actually looked nice, but it was a convertible. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I mean, come on, but whatever.
Hey, so fun fact, guys.
fun fact.
I will have access to a Tesla truck, Cybertruck.
you
Yes,
gonna
my
crash
friend.
I'll come
Nope,
down to visit.
So I am the only one that said I liked them, right?
You did.
I said,
You did.
Oh, yes. So I said they remind me of Blade Runner, blah, blah, blah. So my friend said he has a Ford Raptor that I borrowed to take my car up last year to Smokies Airport.
Yeah,
Yep.
Smokies GT.
So he said, look, Kevin, you're the only person that in your podcast said that you like the car, and all my friends make fun of me. So, and he's older than me. He said, so again, coming from a guy that travels a lot, and he goes, I had a Raptor, so everyone's clowning me. He goes, but I went to the sales guy, and the sales guy said, hey, take this car for 40 minutes, and then when you drive it 40 minutes out, say, drive me back to the Tesla dealership. And he said, Kevin, I got in the car. We drove 40 minutes. He goes, and it took me all these back roads with these kids playing on the side of the road, and they didn't touch the steering wheel. Now, this guy does drive every week. If he's not flying, he's driving from here to Miami. So he is doing a lot. And, I don't know about Casey, and I don't know about you, Matt, or James, but for me, I get yelled at by my wife a lot because I'm driving and my mind works. So I know I've never seen you do it. Yes. So me, I'm like texting and like I can text without even looking at the phone, or I'm speaking. For him, I think he's saying, hey, I have to be on conference calls and I have to, this 4 hours of his day. I finally got him to actually put in his contract that they will fly him. So, but still then, he's wasting a lot of time driving to the airport and whatnot. So he's going to get it wrapped, matte white. And
interesting.
How long has he had it?
He has not. He's picking it up.
Okay.
Well, they got a surplus of these, right?
Right.
So he just ordered it. Yeah, he just ordered it. So he's like, Kevin, I got this car, good deal. And he goes to features and stuff like that. So I'll probably get to borrow it.
Do a video review?
Yeah, I can do a review.
Yeah.
But you guys may be like, I don't give a shit. This is still a piece of shit truck. Like, I don't know. The tech, I think, is going to be pretty cool. And I'm not saying that, like, for me, if I had that car, it would be one that I would take to St. Augustine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just drive and Aaron.
So I've said this before. I have no problem with electric vehicles. I'm not Casey. All right. I actually, there's some electric vehicles I like.
By the way.
That's why there's electric vehicles that I do like. I don't like the styling of the Cybertruck. I have no problem with the P900 or any of the other Tesla vehicles, other than the fact that they're getting dated and aged because they haven't changed either. But I said before, I would go out and buy, if I needed an electric vehicle or had a use for it, I'd buy one of those Ionic Ns tomorrow.
Would you still buy that now? Because isn't there some talk that problem had the issues with that car?
No, I haven't heard any. No, I would buy it tomorrow.
I drove in one last week.
Ionic 5N? Did you really?
I did.
How was it?
News to us.
Please tell me it was everything that I thought it would be.
Not
all
the
your hopes
N.
and dreams.
It wasn't the N.
Oh, it wasn't the N? Okay.
But it was a very nice car.
Right.
It was driving on a cloud.
That's cool.
I don't think the N would be that way. I think it would be a stiffer suspension and such.
Mm-hmm.
But the regular model, I was super impressed. It drove really well. The ride was fantastic.
And they're still fast.
And yeah, I was sold. If I was going to get one, an EV, that would be the one. For me, I like the styling. And now that I've ridden in one, I think it's super sharp.
Yep.
I mean, James, I think you would be in that little i3. Remember the BMW?
Oh,
BMW?
Yeah. You can get those for like $10 grand right now. They're so cheap.
I love that car. It's got the teak wood in the side. Like, my wife is like, what the hell? And I drove in one. I got to drive one in San Francisco. Go figure. Like when they first came out, and I was like, this car is the coolest car. Just the styling, everything about it. I don't know. I'm excited to see what this car. I think it's going to be kind of big for me personally because I do like small cars. I will say that our friend Chad, he bought the 3 Series or the Tesla 3 Model 3.
The Model 3, yes.
And he's a car guy, and he said it was boring as shit. Yeah. But he's driving.
But it wasn't geared towards him.
It's not, because he's an endodontist, so he's driving from there. Where with us, like, at least for me, and maybe I think, I don't know, maybe Matt, we're just like, I mean, James,
Oh
you
yeah,
just
no,
sit there
I
and collect
work.
a
I
fucking
work on
paycheck,
my. I'm on my
and
phone all day
Yeah,
long.
no,
I run my
I don't.
business
Right.
from my phone. I'm on it
right.
all day long, all day, even in the
Yeah.
In
truck.
case he's listening to podcast,
Yeah, I've gotten
you
really
know,
good at using, CarPlay and all the Sirius features and voice to text and making notes, and so I've gotten really good at that. So I don't have to hold the phone a lot, but I'm
right.
still on the phone all day long in the truck.
I'm not.
So yeah, we know. I mean, like I said,
Well,
you
the
barely
question,
work.
the question is, as far as these trucks go, the Cybertruck, it just seems like, does everyone like the shape that buys it? Because they all go in and modify it to get rid of the whole metal, silver,
Steel.
stainless steel, rusting thing, how it changes the oxidization, I guess.
So
But
here's the
yeah,
thing:
it just
it
seems like
has
right off the lot, you're not even
Spend
taking it
5K
home.
more.
You're taking it right to the guy who's going to wrap it.
good, better,
And
and
I think
different.
my friend's doing it because he said he doesn't want it to look like. So I saw one today and I sent him a picture of a white one, but it was gloss white, and I didn't even know it was gloss white because it was so big and so shiny
Mhm.
that I said, "Hey man, don't do gloss white because it looked like it was on
You
a
could
freeway.
blend
It
it.
looked like it was stainless steel, right? Because of the
Right.
glare.
Mm.
So if you're gonna do it, do." And then I saw a black one, and the black one just looked like
Matte black,
because no, it was gloss black,
gloss black,
and you could see all the waves of the
Yeah, the
body panels
ripples and-
because they're
yeah.
so straight. I
right?
said, don't do any like gloss black. I really haven't seen other than that mint green one. I think I showed you guys when I was in California. That was like,
Mhm.
oh, that's pretty cool looking like that. I don't know. I would just keep it
I
stainless
want
steel.
to. I want to see a livery on it.
So there's all the ones here in Orlando
What
are doing
race
liveries.
history does?
Well,
No,
no.
just
So there's
because
one.
it's a huge palette, man. Put the
Just do the
Yeah.
pink pig on it.
There's a guy
Dukes
that
of
lives down the
Hazzard,
street
man.
from me. Exactly. Well, there's a guy that lives down the street from me. He did matte olive green and almost has like a World War II on it. It's got the the black
you
star
did
and everything.
matte green. It's a big photo
Yeah,
of you on
exactly.
it.
Matte green, right? So and it actually, again, it helps hide the funkiness of the shape. The shape is very polarizing, and people either love it or they hate it. There's no gray area. You either like the wedge or you don't like the wedge. It's simple as that. When I first saw it, I thought it was unique and interesting. Like I say, I liked it, but it's just one of those things that it's not going to age very well, in my opinion.
But
Yeah.
no one really talks about the Hummer, right? And have you guys seen that Hummer?
The
I saw
electric
one
EV
today,
Hummer?
actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
passed one
see
today.
quite a few. Matter of fact, I had a customer
They're
yesterday.
giving them
in
away.
one.
I mean,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
inexpensive.
Yeah, I drive by the Tesla dealership here in Charlotte once in a while, and you don't see any other vehicles on the lot except for every space filled with the
With a Tesla
Cybertruck,
truck.
Yep.
just sitting there.
I'm going to be interesting to see how you like the driving of that Tesla truck. The drive-by wire and the steering that changes its turning radius and angle depending on the speed you're going. It's going to be interesting to see how that works.
How you? Well, I bet you, it's odd for a few minutes, and then you just get used to it and adapt.
Probably so, like everything
Yeah.
else.
I know the braking. I drove the Model 3, and the braking was because you just take your foot off the gas, and it
You
does
get the
the regenerative
regen.
braking.
Yeah.
That was very hard for me to not
Get used
touch
to
the
it?
brake. Yes,
Yeah.
you
So
just
the
have, and then you keep on. You're like the old man that like taps on the gas every time, like because so.
I've
know,
been
we'll
told
figure it out.
that you can adjust that in the software. Like in the very beginning, when the Teslas first came out, one pedal was all you had. I mean, it was like a go-kart, on or off. Whereas now you can dial it back and dial back the regen to where you can take your foot off the gas and it'll coast like traditional ICE engine. So
the Ionic does that where
Yeah.
it coasts. So
Yeah.
there's no adapting to it. But I also believe you can adjust that setting too so that it can regenerate.
correct.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah. But most of them, I think nowadays you can adjust that. So if you want the benefit of the regen, you can get it. If you don't, I mean, Orlando's finally getting the infrastructure. I mean, just about every gas station around here now has EV chargers in there, or they're putting them in. So it's better than it once was.
Well, here's a question: Where is it just too early for these EVs? Is it
Yes.
too early where, hey, let's reset, everyone's going back to ICE? Are we planning ahead here and say maybe 10 more years, they continue to do the infrastructure slowly but surely, and then all of a sudden there's a time the proper time?
I think to be full EV, yes. I mean, to be full EV with no hybrid, I think you're going to need an infrastructure where gas stations have chargers at them, especially someone like Casey who's traveling. I think you're going to need a minimum of 500-mile range, and you're going to need charging in 15 minutes.
Mhm.
You know,
Or you're going to have to do what some of the other companies are, where it comes in, drops the battery pack, puts a new one in.
Yeah. You know,
Because let's face it, we don't have half an hour. And on an EV truck, and that's the one thing I told him. I said, look, you're not saving any money in gas. And he's like, yeah, I don't. For me, it's more the time that I can do stuff. And, you know, we talked about with him about, hey, well, now we know why people have airplanes, because they can get, you know, back and forth, and time is money, right? So he doesn't have the time, and that might kick himself in the ass, because I know he's very go, 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 go. And then he's going to be waiting. And we're talking, that truck it takes a while for that truck to,
yeah, I mean, I
it's
think
like
from
$70-$80, isn't it?
It's a big battery, and I think it's from 0 to 80%. I think is like 40 minutes, something like that for charging. Now that not that you need. I mean, most people, especially here, unless you're in an apartment, you could put in a level 2 charger at your house for $1,500 and just charge.
Yeah, but it's 24 hours. You're
yeah.
Either
but
way,
you're not. That's if you're at 0. You
50
drive all day. You get home.
51 to 52 minutes, 0 to 80.
Okay, 0 to 80. So yeah, so you can, you know, but if you go home and you do it like your cell phone, if you're at 40% and you plug it in, it'll be back up by the next morning.
yeah, and either way, even if the general public pulls away from the EV, it doesn't mean they're going to stop doing battery improvements, discoveries, better batteries.
Yeah,
So
but it's funny because his wife actually has the Taycan. That's her company car.
Oh,
that
wow.
she has fully loaded. So I'm gonna see, and I know when she got that car, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this car." Because remember when that car first came out, and she has the Turbo S.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Oh, you need to keep this car." Blah 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 blah. I mean, she probably has 5,000 miles on the car, if that. Never drives it. And now I've told her, yeah, you need to get rid of that car. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's the battery's like, I mean, you just sits there and does nothing. So we'll see.
Yeah. Cool.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this. I'm the perfect test case for an EV vehicle, not for myself, but because I have a fleet vehicle that's gas powered that I have for my work, and my wife literally works 10 miles from the house. We could get an EV for Stacy, and she could drive literally all week long and never even charge it. But she would have to go test drive one because she has in her brain that EV is just not what she wants. And I agree. When they first came out, 10 years ago, I don't think it would have been what she wanted. But now they've made some leaps and bounds where I think the driving.
But is it going to benefit her, because she's probably only spending $10 a week on gas anyway?
Oh no, there would be no benefit as far as a lot of gas or anything like that. It would just be something new. That would be it. So,
all right. Any plans this weekend?
I think I'm going to put in some hours on Saturday at work. We're still behind schedule, being closed on Monday, but other than that, I have nothing planned.
James, did you get moved in yet? Are you guys fully moved
we
in?
move our office tomorrow and Friday, and then I move my daughter into her new house on the weekend. So
sweet.
So both days you're going to be like, put the furniture there and put the furniture there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be coming over here saying,
it up.
my back hurts.
Exactly.
No, it's dad moving couches. That's what that is.
There you go.
So that's the last thing I need. I'll be.
Does she still have a futon or no? She have
no
heavy duty couch.
We've got a big couch that we got to move.
Does she have a house like yours? Like your? Because I will say, and I brag about James' house to like a lot of my friends. James has one of the coolest museum houses.
Yeah.
Not that it's a museum, but when you go into it, I feel like I'm in like one of those super cool, like, I don't know, James.
Like a hipster house.
No, it's not a hipster house. No, not at all. It's just like everything has its place, and it's like you're walking into like a museum, but not like a museum like you can't touch anything. Like a museum, like, oh man, I haven't seen one of those in years, and like it's just a cool house. And I told my wife, I'm like, oh, James' house is like it's a small house. It's just for you, but it's like everything's perfectly placed. Yeah. Like with all
curated. It's definitely
Yes, there you go. Perfect.
So
There you go.
yeah, there's little things that you just want to look at. That's kind of the way I would say it, right? So
Yes.
it could be.
So is her house like that or no?
No, because she's in college. So
Okay.
it's college with roommates, and
Okay.
she's down in Charleston, and 90% of all the housing for those kids, they're slumlords.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I gotcha.
So
Yeah.
she's moving from one shithole to a less of a shithole. How about that?
There you go.
And she got roommates?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So luckily she's got one more year, and then she can get on with
done.
what's next for her. Yeah.
And Casey, what are you doing this weekend?
Gotta come.
No.
In the sub.
That's right.
Are you glassing in that piece? That are you going to glass that wood piece, or is it just pressure treated wood?
I have oiled it. I used some teak
Oh,
oil.
teak oil. Yeah, the
Yeah.
teak stuff.
So you said
Is
use
it
teak
teak?
oil. Is it teak wood or is it?
No, it's just
No.
ply. It's
Okay.
3/4 inch ply. It's going in the ski cabin, which doesn't really get wet, and I'm putting the teak oil on it because I didn't want to paint it because that would have taken longer. So I'm hoping the teak oil keeps it,
I'm
somewhat.
surprised you didn't just use the boating carpet and carpet it.
That's disgusting.
Just asking.
I hate
So-
boat carpet.
What are the other speakers that you have on this boat?
I got
Some folk owls, and he's got some.
I
Jail audio.
just did. There's 2 pair of 6.5 kickers and a 8-inch set of kickers.
And do they hang from the?
Two 8s are on the tower, and then
Okay.
two 6.5 up front, 2 6.5 in the rear.
Cool.
So is Virginia like Florida? If you go on the water, you hear like
We go
Boricua music and
no. So out on the
no?
river,
Okay.
when we're out on the river, we're oftentimes the only boat out there.
Oh.
There's a spot where people kind of beach and hang
Like a
out,
sandbar
drink
type
and
of thing?
whatever.
Yeah.
And you'll hear music there, but otherwise it's very quiet.
It's Virginia. You hear Skinnerd.
You do hear some, you hear a lot of rock, but no,
He's from Jacksonville, so
Yeah.
I think it's more banjos.
There's a lot of redneck out there. So
Yeah.
Cool.
All
Awesome.
right. Well, that's going to be it, guys. See, 1 hour and 8 minutes. See,
perfect.
It goes through like you don't even know it. For those listening, thank you very much. Check out our website, whiskey watches and wheels.com. Check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe. Things are getting better. Our YouTube followers are increasing ever so slightly, but they're going up. And we will chat with you guys next week. All right. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.